So that's TLC when it comes to a phone inquiry. Why would a customer, if your job is to make an appointment, why would a customer want to come into your dealership after making a phone inquiry? Well, I think it's down to one of four things. Firstly, they want to know, do you have a vehicle to test drive? That's a perfect opportunity for making an appointment because a customer just wants to test drive. The second thing is that they want to look at the car in the flesh and check out some colors and some different combinations when it comes to accessories. That's the second thing. The third reason that they're going to have to come in is to get their trade-in appraised correctly. Because it's one thing to give them an indicative price, and I'll talk about that in a later video. It's one thing to give them an indicative price of what their car might be worth, but it's another thing to give them an exact changeover figure with their car, with the new vehicle, and you need to do that in the flesh. You need to actually see the car, and most importantly, you need to drive it. You need to drive their car just as they want to drive our car before they buy it. The fourth reason why a customer might want to come in is because you have talked about another vehicle that they might be interested in that they didn't necessarily have on their list. For example, you might have a demonstrator, a low kilometer demonstrator that has a slightly different specification. Maybe it's a different model, maybe it's a completely different range of vehicle altogether that you've offered them as an alternative. And the reason why I always encourage you on the phone to give an alternative is because if it's about just the car that they're inquiring on, then there's a good chance, firstly, they've already driven it. And if they haven't, they're doing all their research based purely on price, and then they'll drive it. But as soon as you bring another vehicle into the mix, curiosity killed the cat. In other words, people want to know what the car actually looks like, the specification level, and so it's a good reason for that customer to come in. Now, one of those four reasons is something that you're going to have to focus on in order to get an appointment. Because what we often focus on is either test drive or alternatively trade-in appraisal. But let's say the customer hasn't got a trade-in vehicle and they've already driven the car. Well, how do you then get a customer in? Do you then go with the whole technique, well, the only way that you can get my best price is in the dealership, we lock it up in a safe and, we'll leave it there aside for you when you come in? Or are you just going to burn the customer? So you have to make it about something else. Well, Mr. Customer, have you considered this vehicle? Have you considered this color? Have you actually seen the color in the flesh? Because I'd love to talk price with you on the specific car, but at the end of the day, the right price on the wrong car is not the right price. So why don't we make sure that this is the right color that you want? So going on color, or alternatively saying, hey, have you thought about, or would you consider a demonstrator vehicle? Would you consider something with a few thousand kilometers on it? Would you consider the XLS model instead of just the LS model? And giving them something as a point of difference. If we TLC, if we think like a customer, then we put the customer hat on and we think about what is it that's going to entice them in order to come into the dealership. Rather than just saying, get them in, Mr. Manager, we need to focus on how we get them in and which one of those four is going to entice them in.